I remember he was my first death that the patient didn't die comfortably. He was his respirations were awful. He was miserable. It's the lack of communication and understanding of how to handle death, especially even in healthcare. I promised myself I'd never let a patient die like that ever again. Everyone should die with dignity. And that poor man didn't die with dignity. It's such a deeply ingrained thing now because of that poor man that I refuse to let anyone die without the dignity of a calm, peaceful death. No matter the person you are in life, you still deserve peace. My most recent loss was my paternal grandmother passed last year. And she's one that's a hard one to process. She was on hospice. She had COVID in the end. I was the one that convinced my entire family. My dad's side of the family is less trusting of medical. I had the conversation about routine hospice with them, but I didn't have a great relationship with her because it's just complicated on that side. Her death was difficult because it made me process when we have patients in the hospital that are dying that don't get visitors. My brain always switched to why isn't it's the end of their life? Like you could at least come in and say goodbye. I saw my grandmother 4 days before she passed because my dad asked me to. And that still bothers me a little bit that I had to be asked. But I now understand better when I have patients who don't have family coming to see them all the time. After she passed, my brother and I, and my parents, have had numerous conversations about our perception of how she cared for us versus my father's perception because my dad knew her better than us. And he explained to us that Graham always loved you. Still, they loved us in their way. But as she got confused, she started to be more openly loving, and it confused the crap out of me and my brother. But watching my son question where his great Grammy went was interesting. I didn't think he had enough interactions with her to have it be a void for him. And it was for a little bit. He asked about great Grammy all the time because he was only 3, explaining she went to heaven and all of these things. I was like, maybe, who knows? Who's to say, really?
Yeah.
She's at peace. But we're
No one
actually
knows what happens after we die.
no one knows. It's between you and what your belief. The past year, my grandmother passed in February of 2024, and my mom was diagnosed with breast cancer in March of 2024. Having a death of a family member that I wasn't very close to, and then my mom getting that diagnosis, but like that shock of absolutely not. Nope. We're going to live every moment with as much love. We're going to tell each other how much we love each other all the time. But it made me contemplate my relationships with my friends and with my husband's side of the family. We've actually been more open and in better communication with some of his cousins that he hasn't really talked to in a long time because he saw how much regret I had that I hadn't tried harder as an adult to have a better relationship with my grandmother. But now let's try. It's helped us build better relationships. My aunt has been telling me more stories about my grandmother's crazier days, which I find hilarious because I did not think this woman had a crazy bone in her body, but apparently she did. My relationship with my aunt has gotten better since, and it's been more openly loving. So she's been a part of my son's life so much more, but it's funny how it evolves. And I like that it usually evolves into the happiness and we celebrate their life instead of focusing on their death. They deserve that dignity to experience it and handle it and emotionally process because you're not alone. You have a group of people, and if you have a moment where you get sad, you can talk about it, hopefully, and then can move on to the happy part, like the memory can transition into the good parts. I very much believe that everyone should talk more about death. It'll make it less, not less traumatic, but it'll make it easier for people to understand.
Mhm.
It'll help those who need it, like need our help as healthcare providers,
Mhm.
help others understand it better. I think that would help, honestly, if people could see and listen and hear how others perceive death, especially healthcare professionals. If people can see how open we are about it and that we don't have an ulterior motive, whenever we bring it up, it's not because we want your family to die. The goal is comfort, it's quality over quantity.
Mhm.